Welcome back to Superbly Said Advanced English Vocabulary and Phrases.
And today we are digging into some really nuanced material from SpeakDuo Lesson 112.8.
That's the one based on the TED Talk, Why Love is Harder in a Second Language.
It is a fascinating topic.
And before we jump in, just a quick reminder that to really master this kind of vocabulary, you need to practice.
Of course.
You can go to SpeakDuo.com to meet new people from all over the world. They're all practicing English on video calls, really trying to build that speaking confidence.
Absolutely. And these 8 phrases we've picked out today are, well, they're essential for any advanced learner.
Right.
They really help you get past simple translations and start achieving real fluency and nuance.
Okay, let's get right into it.
Let's do it.
Our first phrase, often used for physical preparation, is to be all rugged up. So this means to be dressed very warmly, completely covered, usually in heavy clothing against the cold.
Exactly. And this is a perfect example of prioritizing, vivid imagery. If you just say, the children were dressed warmly,
Okay.
the weakness there is it's a bit bland. It's too vague. It could mean they just put on a light sweater.
I see the distinction. Yeah.
So the suggestion is to use all rugged up when you mean thorough, serious preparation.
Okay.
It implies this real need for protection. We're talking heavy snow, maybe a biting wind. You need layers.
So it's about being fortified, not just comfortable.
That's it, exactly. And that specificity is so crucial.
For an example, you might say, the children were all rugged up in scarves and heavy coats before they went out to play in the deep snow.
Perfect. And that idea of preparation, it actually connects back to the TED Talk.
Oh, interesting. How so?
Well, just like you prepare physically for bad weather, you have to be prepared linguistically for communication challenges.
That's a great parallel.
So let's try it in a more formal context, like an IELTS question.
Okay.
When going hiking in the mountains during autumn, why is it important to be all rugged up, even if the sun is shining?
A strong answer would really focus on that idea of protection. Something like, it's vital because temperatures can plummet at higher altitudes, so you need full protection. Being all rugged up ensures survival, not just comfort. Moving on to phrase number 2. This is a great piece of social language. Love handles.
Ah, yes.
Defined as rolls of fat around a person's waist.
Now you could use a clinical term like fat or flab, but the weakness is that it can sound, really judgmental.
Right, very harsh.
Or just overly clinical in a casual setting. It doesn't help build rapport.
The tone would be completely wrong.
Exactly. So the suggestion is to use love handles. It's a specific euphemism for fat around the waist, and it intentionally carries a softer, often humorous, or even an affectionate tone.
It signals familiarity.
It does, and it avoids causing offense.
I remember when I first heard that phrase, I was surprised at how specific it was to just that one area of the body. So you could say something like, after the holiday season, my colleague joked about needing to go to the gym to work off his newly acquired love handles.
And that nuance in tone is exactly what advanced fluency is all about. The TED Talk mentions intimacy and joking about something vulnerable, like weight gain. It requires a gentle linguistic tool like this.
So if an examiner were to ask, why might people use the term love handles instead of simply saying fat?
The advanced answer is all about that cultural softening. You'd say, it sounds gentler and more affectionate than the literal clinical term fat, which helps minimize any awkwardness around the topic.
Okay, next up is phrase 3, which is all about conflict, to end in an argument.
Right. This means a discussion resulted in a disagreement, or, a verbal fight.
You could say to quarrel or to get into a fight, but what's the difference?
Well, the weakness with those is they describe the whole event. They don't really capture the shift, the escalation.
So what does to end in an argument give us?
The suggestion here is to use it because it specifically emphasizes the negative conclusion, the result of a discussion that maybe started out fine and then just went downhill.
It highlights a communication failure.
Exactly. Which is so relevant for cross-cultural communication, where misunderstandings can just blow up.
So in a workplace context, you might see this. Their casual discussion about politics quickly escalated and threatened to end in an argument before a friend intervened.
And this is where that TED Talk theme comes right back in. In a second language, it's so much easier for a conversation to unexpectedly end in an argument because you miss subtle cues. sarcasm, frustration.
They just go right over your head.
So for a question about prevention, like, what is the most effective way to prevent a sensitive conversation from quickly ending in an argument?
The logical strategy would be something like, the best way is to set a ground rule where both people must listen without interrupting the other.
Right. It breaks that emotional feedback loop that leads to the fight.
Our fourth phrase is a big one in negotiation and competition: upper hand.
A very common one.
It refers to a position of advantage or control over an opponent.
Now, if you just stick with the word advantage, the weakness is that it's just too broad. An advantage could be anything, something tiny.
Right.
Upper hand implies something much more significant.
So the suggestion is to use upper hand because it specifically implies dominance, real control over an opponent in a high-stakes situation.
Yes. Business, sports, even a serious discussion at home. It's all about leveraging control.
Which plays directly into relationship dynamics. If one person is more fluent, they might feel they have the upper hand because they can express themselves faster.
That's a great point. It makes the phrase really potent in a professional setting, too. Like, the negotiator had the upper hand because he possessed crucial market data that the other company didn't.
Control through information.
Exactly. And we have to reject that idea that just being loud gives you control.
So if we ask, in a debate, does the person who speaks the loudest automatically gain the upper hand?
The advanced speaker knows the answer is no. The person who speaks calmly, clearly, and presents the best evidence is the one who truly gains the upper hand by establishing intellectual superiority.
Okay, halfway through, phrase number 5 is central to emotional complexity, emotional weight.
This one is maybe the most relevant to the TED Talk.
It means the amount of emotional significance or deep feeling attached to something, a word, an experience.
Right, and the weakness of just saying emotional importance is that it sounds a bit academic, it lacks impact, it doesn't convey any gravity.
So emotional weight is more powerful?
Much more. The word weight emphasizes the heaviness, the profound, serious impact that something carries. It suggests a lasting significance.
Not just a passing feeling.
Exactly. The speaker in the talk discusses how saying I love you might not feel as heavy. It might not have the same emotional weight in a second language. It lacks that deep, formative context.
That gravity is perfectly shown in big life moments. For example, saying the marriage vows for the first time carries a massive emotional weight that cannot be replicated in a practice session.
And this helps us understand nostalgia, too. When answering, why do certain songs from childhood carry a much greater emotional weight than songs released recently?
It's because those songs are attached to really significant experiences from our formative years. That's what gives them that lasting, heavy impact.
Okay, let's talk about our sixth phrase, to fall flat.
This means to fail completely, to produce the effect you wanted, especially when you're trying to be funny or impressive.
Right. The simple verb is to fail. But we've discussed this, to fail is too broad. A company can fail, a project can fail.
It misses the specific context of communication.
Precisely. The suggestion is to use to fall flat because it's specialized. It refers to a failure of reception, of impact, when a joke or a presentation just completely misses the mark with the audience.
You can almost hear the silence.
Yes, and this happens all the time in cross-cultural situations. A joke uses a reference nobody gets, and it falls flat.
In public speaking, you might say, the comedian's opening joke about the weather fell flat because the audience didn't understand the local reference.
Perfect. And if we apply it to business strategy, when introducing a new product, what causes a marketing campaign to fall flat with consumers?
Well, the failure of reception happens if the campaign feels insincere or if it isn't addressing a real consumer need. It just fails to connect. The effect is zero.
Let's move to phrase number 7. This one's very idiomatic and tied to trust. To let someone in on something.
It means to share a secret or some kind of exclusive information with someone.
The simple alternative is to tell a secret.
But that can be really casual.
Yeah, the weakness is that it lacks any sense of gravity.
So to let someone in on.
Is better. Much better. It suggests granting access to restricted or confidential knowledge. A secret plan, private company data, a sensitive thought. It implies permission and trust.
It's a powerful sign of a deepening relationship, professional or personal. It means inclusion.
Right.
You see it in executive communication. After weeks of secrecy, the CEO finally decided to let the management team in on the plan for the company's expansion.
And in a more personal context, it's a measure of trust. Like, if you discovered a great little-known restaurant, would you let your friends in on the secret?
And the positive answer reinforces that idea of trust. Yes, I would definitely let my friends in on the secret so they could also enjoy the amazing food. That act of sharing privileged knowledge builds the bond.
Finally, our 8th phrase for today, to evoke the strongest emotion.
This means to bring a specific feeling or memory into the mind, often in a really deep and powerful way.
If you only say to cause or to trigger an emotion, the weakness is you're missing the depth, the involuntary nature of it. Those verbs they're too mechanical.
So to evoke is more subtle.
Yes, the suggestion is to use evoke because it implies a powerful, often involuntary calling forth of deeply held feelings, usually through the senses, like a smell or a sound. It feels like the memory is being pulled from deep inside you.
That sensory recall is what makes a native language so rich. The sounds and smells instantly evoke complex feelings. This captures that perfectly. The smell of cinnamon and baking apples always seems to evoke the strongest feelings of nostalgia for my grandmother's house.
And when you're talking about motivation, the phrase clarifies the depth of the reaction. So if someone asks, what kind of music tends to evoke the strongest feelings of motivation or energy in you?
A fluent answer would be, upbeat electronic dance music always seems to evoke the strongest feeling of energy, especially before a workout.
It's an involuntary, deep response, not a choice to feel motivated.
Okay, we have covered 8 essential, nuanced phrases today. Now it's time to test your recall of everything we just discussed from SpeakDuo Lesson 1128.
Yeah, and we recommend focusing not just on the definition, but on why the advanced term is better than the simple one.
Okay, question 1. When going hiking in the mountains during autumn, why is it important to be all rugged up, even if the sun is shining? Is it?
Option A, to be prepared for sudden changes in weather and protect against cold or harsh conditions.
Option B, to be organized with all supplies packed correctly and stored securely in a large backpack.
Or option C, to be equipped with ropes and specialized climbing gear necessary for scaling steep inclines.
Feel free to pause the critique here if you need a moment to think about the answer.
The correct answer is option A.
That's right. Being all rugged up relates directly to that key idea we discussed, being heavily covered for protection against unpredictable, harsh conditions.
Exactly.
Question 2. Why might people use the term love handles instead of simply saying fat when talking about weight gain?
Okay. Option A, the term is clinically precise for describing fat accumulated specifically on the thighs and buttocks area.
Option B. It is a common euphemism used because it sounds gentler and more affectionate than the literal term fat.
And option C, the phrase is a literal reference to the ergonomic handles designed for exercise equipment.
Go ahead and take a moment now to decide which reason feels right for that idiom.
The correct answer is option B.
Yes. We emphasize that love handles is used specifically as a gentler, more affectionate euphemism to keep the tone softer and less clinical. All right, question 3. What is the most effective way to prevent a sensitive conversation from quickly ending in an argument?
Option A, ensure all participants maintain a consistent and unemotional tone throughout the entire discussion.
Option B, require each person to set ground rules and focus intently on reaching a compromise immediately.
Or option C, establish a rule that every person must listen without interruption to prevent a dispute or verbal fight.
You can pause here if you need more time to choose the best preventative action.
And the correct answer is C.
Yes, the key to preventing a conversation from ending in an argument is establishing those clear listening rules to stop things from escalating into that negative result.
That's it.
Question 4. In a debate, does the person who speaks the loudest automatically gain the upper hand?
Option A, no. Superiority in a debate is gained by presenting the best evidence and speaking calmly and clearly.
Option B, yes.
An advantage is immediately established by forcing the opponent to retreat through sheer volume.
Or option C. It depends entirely on who can use the most complex vocabulary and technical language effectively.
You might want to pause here to really consider what superiority means in this context.
The correct answer is option A.
Right. Gaining the upper hand means achieving control through intellectual superiority and evidence, not just by being the loudest person in the room.
Exactly right.
Question 5. Why do certain songs from childhood carry a much greater emotional weight than songs released recently?
Is it A, the music quality was objectively superior and more complex than modern production standards allow?
B. Those songs are attached to significant experiences or deep feelings from early formative years?
Or C, newer songs require less active listening, which reduces the amount of intellectual significance?
Take your time to think about where that deep significance comes from.
The correct answer is option B.
Yes, we defined emotional weight as that deep, heavy significance tied to profound formative experiences. That's what gives those old songs their power. Number 6. When introducing a new product, what causes a marketing campaign to fall flat with consumers?
Option A, the product failed to achieve its initial quarterly sales projection targets in the first region.
Option B. It failed completely because the message seemed insincere and missed addressing a genuine consumer need.
Or option C, the campaign was delayed due to internal disputes and logistical challenges concerning its launch date.
Go ahead and press pause if you need to think about that idea of a failure of reception.
The correct answer is option B.
Yes, to fall flat refers to that complete failure of impact on the audience. A campaign that feels insincere or irrelevant just doesn't connect.
It produces no effect.
Question 7. If you discovered a great little-known restaurant, would you let your friends in on the secret?
Option A. No, the exclusive information should be preserved to maintain the restaurant's quality and service standards.
Option B. Yes, I would definitely share the private knowledge with friends so they could also enjoy the amazing food.
Or C. Yes, but only after confirming that the restaurant has the necessary licenses and legal permits to operate.
One more pause for this act of shared trust.
The correct answer is B.
And this confirms the meaning of letting your friends in on the secret as an act of sharing private knowledge, which builds friendship and trust.
Right.
Last one, question 8. What kind of music tends to evoke the strongest feelings of motivation or energy in you?
Is it A, music with complex instrumental arrangements that require deep, thoughtful, and analytical listening?
B, calm, classical pieces that promote a state of mindfulness and encourage personal reflection and rest?
Or C, upbeat electronic dance music?
Final pause for this last question.
The correct answer is option C.
And this matches the example we discussed, how certain music can powerfully and involuntarily evoke the strongest feelings of energy, highlighting the depth of that verb compared to just causing an emotion.
Exactly.
And that wraps up our deep dive into these 8 key phrases, including to be all rugged up, love handles, to end in an argument, and upper hand.
And also, emotional weight, to fall flat, to let someone in on something, and to evoke the strongest emotion.
The fundamental takeaway here for advanced learners is to stop translating directly. You have to integrate these specific, high-impact terms.
Absolutely. Phrases like emotional weight give a gravity to your words that simpler vocabulary just can't match, especially when you're talking about difficult subjects in a second language.
Remember, the goal is precision and nuance. You can find more materials and practice sessions just like this one by visiting SpeakDuo.com.
And join people from all over the world who are committed to improving their English-speaking confidence.
Keep focusing on context. Challenge yourself to master the nuance.
And we look forward to reviewing your next steps toward advanced fluency.